In order to offer you the best possible experience and to preserve the original material, this video is presented in UHD HDR10. It is recommended to watch it on a HDR display system and check that your YouTube application supports HDR on your device. You can also download it on my website lelabodej.com and watch it via other applications. Hello everyone, and welcome to this test of the latest edition of Speed in 4K HDR. Many of you have asked me for 4K HDR Blu-ray reviews. It's not my priority, but from time to time I will do it on movies that I care about. In this video I will share with you some information about the film, the original technical specifications, the content of this edition, a comparison between HDR and SDR, technical measurement, and the conclusion. Speed is an excellent action movie from the 90s, 1994 to be precise. It was directed by Jan de Bont, to whom we owe the excellent Twister and other films such as Speed 2, Haunting, and Lara Croft: The Cradle of Life. Jan de Bont is also known for being an excellent cinematographer who has created magnificent images for Die Hard, Flightliners, The Hunt for Red October, Basic Instinct, and Lethal Weapon 3, to name only the most famous. Cast is composed of a young Keanu Reeves in great shape, as well as Sandra Bullock, Dennis Hopper, and Jeff Daniels. This film is a real roller coaster of 2 hours. There is almost no downtime, and I strongly recommend it. The film was shot in 39mm with Arriflex 3 and Panavision Panaflex Platinum and Gold 2 cameras, with Panavision Primo Series C and E lenses, and for the effects, Beaumont VistaVision and VistaFlex camera were used. There are special cameras that allow to print a larger image surface on the film to have more information for the visual effects. The film was finalized in anamorphic and is presented in its original ratio 2.39:1. It was mixed in 5.1 and available in Dolby and DTS. We have a 4K UHD HDR Blu-ray that contains the film, an audio commentary by the director, and a second track with the commentary by writer Graham Yost and producer Mark Gordon. The audio tracks presented are an English DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 track, a French Parisian DTS 5.1 track, a German track in DTS 5.1, and a Spanish track in Dolby Digital 5.1, and a Japanese track in stereo. Subtitles are available in English for deaf and hearing impaired, French, German, Japanese, and Spanish. The Blu-ray HD version contains the same audio tracks and subtitles. The film has not been remixed and offers the same tracks as the previous Blu-ray edition. Concerning extra contents, we find most of the bonuses of the previous edition. Note that they are only on the HD Blu-ray in standard edition and 4:3 for the most part. And you can find a wealth of information on the shooting. It's a real pleasure and informative. You will find action sequences, the bus jumps, the Metro Ray trash, a module on location, on stunts, on visual effects. You will have HBO First Look. You will find also extended scene. You will find also theatrical trailer, 10 TV spots, and the Speed music video by Billy Idol. The film is presented with a new transfer made from a digital intermediate in 4K in HDR10. There is no Dolby Vision or HDR10+. Here are some samples of the film in HDR with the SDR version that I converted to HDR. We can see that the new color grading is quite different from the previous version. We have a more natural aspect. Yellow dominant of the previous edition has been reduced. You can see that some scenes are much brighter and others much darker. We lost some detail in the lowlights, but gained a lot in the highlights. Skin tones are more natural, even if we have the impression that the saturation has been sometimes strongly softened. On this image, we can see that we have a lot more details in the highlights that the SDR version was unable to reproduce in the previous edition. You can see here that this image is much darker than the old version. The saturation of some colors, especially the reds, has been greatly reduced. We can also see that on the scene of explosions, we have much more details. It's much more elaborated and worked than previous version. In terms of definition, we didn't get much, but on the other hand, this new master has rid us of certain content of edge enhancement that was present in the previous edition. The grain is quite present, and the compression is very well managed. There is no bending issues, and we have some fantastic bitrate that sometimes reach peak at 133 megabits per second. Technically, the film is in P3D65 encapsulated in a BT2020. The color palette is quite limited, except for few explosions, but we don't have bright and very saturated colors. The light peaks are often around 1000 nits in the specular and highlights. We have a nice dynamic range, even if sometimes the black seems to be a little more crushed. And now I'll let you enjoy with these few images. This new edition is a must-have. The transfer is beautiful and the compression is superb. Extra contents are quite rich, even if there is no remix in Atmos or Dolby Vision or HDR10+ presentation. This edition is really far superior than the older Blu-ray. This test is finished. If you want to know more about HDR, I recommend you to watch the video online on the YouTube channel, and you can also visit my website lelabodej.com, where you can download some samples in HDR10, 10+, Dolby Vision, HLG to test your systems. Feel free to subscribe and share this video. Thank you, see you soon.